Good morning, guys, and welcome to another news episode of Blowdown and Johan here at Extreme Fishing, and we are bringing you some fresh news from George.
Hi there, guys. Thank you for that excellent intro. You have to start it actually. Hi there, guys, and welcome to another Blowdown adventure or episode. But in any case, we are here in Extreme Fishing, and we're going to be updating you on what happened last week. And then we're also going to be looking at a little bit of the league results, fish that came out last week. Then we're going to be talking about what's happening this week weather-wise, competitions. We're going to be covering a little bit of the tackle, what fish are biting, and then what hooks and tackle and traces and stuff like that you can use. But if you want to catch up every single Monday, we're going to be doing this every single Monday. We don't have a name for it yet, but from the last episode, you guys seem to enjoy this type of podcast. So we are going to be doing this every week. I'm going to sit in, sometimes we'll have some guests. But for today, we've got Johan again, and I enjoy talking to Johan. Johan is the owner here at Extreme Fishing, and the reason I like talking to shop owners or salesmen in a shop is they get all the inside info. They know what the people are buying. They talk to everybody, all the anglers, so they know what hooks the people are using, where the fish are biting. So if you want local info, go to tackle shops, and you'll get your local info on what actually is biting. So first up is definitely the weather of last week. It was cold, it was raining, and in Cape Town there was floods everywhere. The guys were kayaking in the streets, they were surfing off the bridges, taking a ski rope and tying it to a bridge and skiing with a current. And then there was also a video of fish swimming in Cape Town train station, and that video is a fake. I must tell you, that video is not a real video. There was an old video somewhere in India or somewhere where there was fish swimming on the railroads, and the guy just made a voiceover. So very smart. He got a lot of views on TikTok, Instagram, and everywhere, but it is not a real video. It's a fake video. There's no fish swimming in Cape Town train station. So let's dive right into it. First, there was a lot of fish. Yes, last week we said it's not really good fishing weather. Later on during the week, the weather became a little bit better. The swell did drop down, the winds died down a little bit. So the guys did go out fishing. I know a lot of the guys caught some nice fish. Still target species, mainly your galjoen, your white steambus. There was a couple of fish that came out. I know that Sean May was quite busy in the Mossel Bay area. He had a couple of charters. So if you're in the Mossel Bay area and you want to go on a charter, contact Sean May. He will definitely put you on the fish. He's very active on the fishing front, and he knows what's going on. A couple of nice gully sharks. The guys were targeting a couple of nice gully sharks as well. But this past weekend on Saturday, we had the Eden Shore Angling, the league. And there's actually a big difference between the winter league and the summer league. And for us that like to fish socially, we don't always know everything that's going on. So I'm going to ask you to explain a little bit more about what's happening on the winter league and how it works.
So Eden Shore Angling league-wise, summer is more formal. They've got teams of A, B, and C, usually 9 in a team. And then according to how your level in angling is and how you've been doing, they put you in that team. It's usually chosen by the clubs themselves. It's not you work yourself up there. And then you get the winter league, that's more a social kind of thing. You make up your own team of guys you like to fish with.
How many guys in a team then?
It's not allowed to be less than 2, I think.
Okay.
Less than 2 or 3. You make up a group of guys, go fish together, and you choose your area, you choose your time. Still as the summer league, you must put that in before going.
So that's also something that I didn't know. Summer league, you've got a designated area where you're only allowed to fish.
Yes,
am I right?
For that day.
And then on the winter league, you can fish basically anywhere.
Anywhere, but it must be accessible to all anglers. So you're not allowed to go fish on places that only you yourself can go.
Okay, so for instance, when there's a closed gate, you can't enter into that gate. Because I know Gion, the guys that he fished with, they went Gaurikwa, they went to Gaurit's area, and they were fishing that area. He said a lot of galjoen, smaller galjoen, and a couple of small cracker came out. Not very big fish, but they were actually targeting more your non-edibles. So why do you guys rather target non-edibles than edibles?
Well, non-edibles usually bigger.
Okay.
So bigger. The points work on weight.
Okay.
I know they've changed it a bit now. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but there is a change in that now to make it more equal for everyone in angling.
fish that came out. Let's see.
Fish that
We've
came
got the stats here in front of us from the league.
Okay, so stats for this weekend. Number of participants, 98 anglers participated in this thing. Number of fish caught was 136 that came out. Number of edibles were 46, and then the inedibles was 90. Total of 136 fish were put back alive.
Released.
Very well done there. And then the total weight of fish caught was 543.84 kilograms.
Just interesting there. Nobody killed any fish. All of the fish were released. Do you get extra points when you release it or something? No. So
Not
okay,
as far as I know.
Okay, so that's very interesting, and well done to all the anglers. All of the fish were released. Exceptional catches was Enrico with a 10.9 kilogram, almost 11 kilogram white mussel cracker, and then Philippus Meyer from Mossel Bay, he caught a shark, a soup fin of almost 26.6 kilograms. So that was the two biggest, edible and non-edible. And then leading clubs at the moment, first three clubs.
It was Outeniqua Club, Outeniqua Clutch Carbels, 1. So that's the interesting thing about the Winter League as well. They make a name for their team. There's, as you can see, there's a whole list of different teams that Mossel Bay Sea Otters. Then you've got in second place Plate Team Extreme, and then in third place Triton Ninjas. You don't see them.
Okay, so well done to those three teams. They are the leaders of the Winter League, and this was the first Winter League.
This was the first
Okay,
one.
so that was the first Winter League that we had. We'll keep you updated on that. Okay, let's talk about let's go into the fishing comps first. I know this Saturday there's a Galjoen competition.
Hosted by the guys from Raspel.
Okay, is it the Raspel guys that's
yeah.
actually hosting that? Okay.
Yes, so that is their annual fundraising Galjoen Derby they host every year. It's to get the guys psyched up for the new season coming. Try and get a few new guys in. Small prizes, that is.
Yeah, I saw there's a couple of, I think it's 4 or 5 prizes.
Yeah, it's not a big.
I'll put the entry here. You can enter here at the shop.
Yes, we do have entry forms.
You can enter. Come in, buy that one, and then also buy your ticket for the Galjoen Derby, the big extreme fishing. That is big prizes. That is on that Galjoen Derby, the 27th, the extreme fishing Galjoen Derby. Talking about the prizes, we've got 2 of the prizes here in front of us. Definitely, and I can talk a little about. I can vouch for the Berkeley Emotion. This is the rod that I was fishing with, not this exact same rod. This is your 2 to 4 ounce. This is better for your Galjoen. Obviously, we are fishing Galjoen Derby, so the prizes will be Galjoen Derby prizes or Galjoen prizes. And then we've got the Pens Fierce 5,000. Very nice reel. Johan, if you look at that reel, top, middle, low, where does that one enter in your budget wise?
Budget wise, it's between in your middle. They go here by 2,800,
Because it's
2,600.
the one just under your spin fisher.
Yes.
In that range.
Yes. So the one that we've got here is this is still the old model. That's the 3. The new one is the 4. Looks basically the same, just a tad bit of changes. Sorry for that. Changes to it. So it's got the better knob on.
Oh yeah, I see the power handle. Yeah.
And then basically further on, a few changes on the inside just to change it up, and that's about that, eh?
Okay, so that's one of the prizes that will be available at the Extreme Fishing Galjoen Derby. Looking at this week's weather, today and tomorrow, the weather's not looking that bad. Tomorrow there's still flat, so I'm going to be fishing for a steenras tomorrow. I decided I'm going to go and in search of a steenie, but then later on the week the swell does pick up a little bit. Not that much. It's still going to be good fishing for your Khalid picks up tomorrow. Surf is 0.9 to 1.4, and then it picks up to 1.5. Then Thursday is also a good day. It drops down a little bit again to 1.4. And then from Friday and Saturday it picks up again, 2 meters plus.
Yeah.
So definitely galjoen water for this weekend. During the week you can maybe try and catch a steenie, and even you can go and target cop. There was a couple of cop that also came out. There was a couple of cop that came out in the wilderness area. That area the guys were targeting cop. Good chance, live bait and a flat sea, winter sea. Nice bait for a cop. Your choker and a live bait.
Yeah.
And then
deep sea guys as well.
And the deep sea guys also had a couple of nice winter cop. Water temperature deep sea wise was cold. Guys that went out yesterday and the day before, Saturday and Sunday, the guys that went out said 13.8. They went for hake, no stockfish. Stockfish is still missing in action, but they did get a couple of smaller cobbies. Area they're working is round about Herald's Bay, that area. So the guys that was launching from Wilderness side, they went around. Carmen's still open, still a couple of boats going out there. The Wheels boat is always, that Wheels boat can go out anytime because it got wheels. And then so the hake is still gone. No reports of any hake. The cop in Gouritz and from the deep sea side has also disappeared a little bit, but good fish to target this week. Definitely first part of the week. Cop and steenie. Cracker, you want? Good idea to go and target cracker?
Yeah, you can still go
on the flat seas.
Yeah, you're not going to get that much of a pickup as your areas are a bit smaller to choose from.
Yeah. But then going into the weekend with the swell that's picking up, definitely a good idea to go and target your galjoen again.
If you're not going to try, you're never going to know.
You have to have a line in the water. Yes. Okay, so let's look at a couple of things here that we can talk about. And this is something that I actually learned in the shop because I always used to buy the cheapest hooks. And there's nothing wrong with buying the cheapest hooks, but you want to spend a lot of money on your rod, on your reel, on your braid, and then you go and buy a cheap hook. What is the first thing that actually catches the fish? Is the hook. So you have to have the correct hooks. And I've got spoke to Kobe as well, and he said that these are the hooks that the guys prefer when they are fishing for your gullies. And it's something that I also have in my bag. Is either a 2-0, 3-0 circle hook and a J hook, because you never know on the day the bites might be a little bit slower and then you want to set the hook. Other days they really take the bait and then you can fish with a circle hook. So I've got the 2-0 and 3-0 BKKs circles. Like I said, they are a little bit more expensive. You do get cheaper 2 and 3-0 circle hooks that you can use, but I really like these hooks, and the reason why I say that is, yes, you are throwing for galjoen, but you never know what's going to pick you up.
Yes.
And if you are fishing with a very cheap hook or inexpensive hook and a cracker picks you up, you're going to lose that cracker, and you already spend all the money on bait and on petrol and everything to get there. Now you want to go fish with a cheaper hook. So spend that extra bucks on the hooks. It really does make a difference in your hookup, and when you pick up that fish of a lifetime, you don't want to sit there with a cheap hook and the thing pulls open and then you lose the fish. So that's a bigger case. And I've also got these Berkeley Essentials, also 2 and 3-0. Nice when you're scratching the J hooks, nice when you're scratching around for Kolstad and Gullies and stuff like that. I like the J hook sometimes when you're just scratching and you can feel that little bites and you can just set the hook yourself, especially on the braid. When you direct on the fish, you can set that hook easily on the J hook.
It's also about how you feel the day. I sometimes get the days where I enjoy my circle hooks, work much easier with it. Other days it just feels like my bait doesn't come out like I want it to look like, so then I rather go with a J that I'm used to, grew up with.
Here's an interesting question for you. J hook and circle hook, when you're fishing a very, very foul area where you know there's a lot of red bait heads.
Yeah.
The past couple of times I fished is sometimes when I'm fishing J hook, that J hook is open. It gets stuck in that red bait very easily. Yes. And then I switch to circle hook and I feel like I don't get stuck that easily into the red bait heads. Is it true? Or is it just me that was lucky and unlucky?
No, it's 100% true there. The thing about the circle is because it's a circle, your sharp point is bent in.
It's bent in, yeah.
So you can still get hooked onto a red bait head, but it's going to be less of a chance happening. So you got a better.
You got a better chance of getting the hook out.
And
I also felt that way when I was fishing for Galjoen the past couple of times that I went.
Yeah.
Okay. Estuary wise, there's actually been a couple of really nice grunters coming out in the estuaries. There was a report of somebody catching a couple of cob as well, but that is all night fishing. The fish are really not coming out during the daytime, and we experienced that when we were fishing right now during the daytime. So you've got, if you want to go and sit in the cold in the estuaries, you will get a couple of grunters. Eastern Cape has also been producing a couple of nice grunters. So yeah, the estuaries are producing a couple of fish. There's definitely a couple of things going on in the estuaries, but it's very early mornings and late afternoons and nighttime that the fish are coming out. Floods hasn't been that bad to us. Luckily the rivers didn't come down that badly in our area, in the garden route. Your Witsand had a lot of water, but not in Witsand itself. The water's coming from the inland. And then Kleinbrak, good area to target at the moment. Grootbrak, good area to target. Sedgefield, a little bit more quiet. Haven't heard a lot of fish coming out in Sedgefield. So the Sedgefield guys are actually driving to Knysna, where the Knysna guys normally drive to Sedgefield. The Sedgefield guys are actually driving to Knysna. No reports of lint swimming. We haven't had enough rain. There needs to be certain conditions. So the guys that have got lintworm, or the tapeworm, some people call it, they are hanging on to that. And for those of you, lintworm, it is legal to go and get lintworm. Even at night time, you are not allowed to get it with a net. You're only allowed to get it with a pole, or something like a stick, a broomstick or something. So you are allowed to go and get it. And also you're allowed 10 per person, per license, per fishing license. So yeah, we got a little bit sidetracked there. We were at the hooks. Then Johan, 3-way or single swivel?
It depends on what you have in your bag at the end of the day. If you're going rocks, I prefer the 3-way swivel, as it's very easy. One side hook, one side sinker, and then your main line. It's one swivel on your trace. A lot of the guys believe the lighter the tackle, the better the pickup. So some guys make a knot as a swivel. You get a
yeah, I saw
knotted
that
swivel type of thing that guys prefer. It's much quicker for them as well. The single mostly is for when you go for steernies and you want a sliding trace and so on. But it's all dependent on what worked for you as well.
Yeah, I fished the last time I went. I didn't have 3-way swivels, and what I did was I took a single swivel. So I had my main line directly to the single, sinker line on the bottom, and then my trace line I connected to the same eye as I had my main line.
Yeah.
And it makes a nice little loop actually, that keeps the line from twisting up.
Yeah.
And something that I also do is I use a little bit of thinner line for my sinker, and then I put a knot in that. So if my sinker gets stuck, that knot can break and I can just tie, and I don't have to retie everything. Yeah. Talking about that, we've got the sinkers for Galjoen fishing, 2 ounce, 3 ounce and 4 ounce. That's depending on your rod that you're using, obviously.
Yeah.
And then depending on the swell on the day.
Yeah.
If you've got a 2 to a 4 ounce like that Berkeley Motion, you can start off with a 2 ounce, and if you see you're not getting where you want to be, then you can go 3 ounce, and you can go heavier. And I saw something that Evan did is he even took that nylon grapples, what do you call those?
Grab sinkers.
Grab sinkers, and he threw in between the rocks with a 3 ounce with the nylon ones, not with the wide ones, with the nylon ones. And he also got out pretty easily.
Yeah, so what happens is your nylon grab doesn't go sit in between the rock, deeper in. It sits on top of the rock. It still grabs a bit on top.
Yes.
So when pulling out, it just that nylon's bent over and you get your sink out. But if you start picking up, you must wind for life.
You must
if
go.
that thing keeps on grabbing the rocks, you're gonna lose something.
Okay, so we've got our hooks, we've got our swivels, we've got our sinkers. Now,
just the last thing, Dom.
Yes.
There's one sinker that is not mentioned here. It's the egg-shaped sinker where your line passes through. So
like a sliding
one. That one is just bad if you get stuck and you pull it off. You usually lose everything. So you lose your trace and everything. But there's a few Galjoen anglers that believe that your stuff mustn't lay still.
Must move
It
around
must
a
keep
little bit.
moving around. they want movement on that bait.
Yes.
So there's a rule of thumb on when fishing for galjoen with you'll see a lot of people using these beautiful colorful floats.
Yes.
So if the water is flat, use a float
Okay.
to give it movement.
Okay.
But if the sea is rough, the
It
float's
will
not
move
going to
on
help
itself.
you. Yeah,
Okay.
the float's just going to make it even worse. So yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, and I actually saw Franco fishing with that little sliding sinker that you mentioned about.
Yes.
So, do you put a stopper in then somewhere,
No.
or just like like we would normally fish a estuary with his
Yes.
little sliding sinker?
Yeah.
Okay. So leader line. I know there's a lot of different brands. So I've got the Maxima Ultra Green. I love fishing with the Ultra Green. It's my favorite one when we're fishing for cob and grunters in the estuary. I don't know why, but I've always been buying these Maxima Ultra Greens. So galjoen, anything again, it's what you prefer, but from a 0.6 to a 0.7, what would you recommend?
And even lighter.
Even lighter?
Some of the guys go to a 16 kilo, 18 kilo, and up to 21 kilo
Okay.
for galjoen. And then when you go to areas where you're not sure if it's a galjoen or cracker gonna bite there, you can go a bit heavier to the 25 kilo.
Okay.
But Maxima, in general, is the choice for the galjoen anglers.
Okay. Also, so they also choose the Ultra Green. Yeah, I don't know why. Ever since 15 years, when I walked into the shop the first time, and you and Oheni still then, told me, and I said, what trace must I use for grunter? And you said, no, Maxima Ultra Green, 5 or 7 kilogram, that's what you fish for grunter with. And then I started fishing for Garrick, and again, Maxima Ultra Green, that's the one you fish with. So it's always been the Maxima Ultra Green. I don't know why.
Tried and tested, and
Tried
it
and
works.
tested, and it's gotten expensive over the years, but it really works. I mean, I can still remember when I bought my first one, it was like 35 or 40 bucks. Yes, it's gotten expensive over the years, but as everything in our hobby has gotten very expensive over the years. But yeah, it just, that is definitely the one that is working for us. Then if we look at the spearfishing front, on the spearfishing, still not a lot of clean water for us, so still staying out of the water. Some good news that I picked up is port and starboard was spotted in Mossel Bay area yesterday. So that is excellent news for the spear fishermen, simply because when those two are around, the whites tend to move away, and especially during the winter months when it's dirty water and the colder water, the whites are really active in this colder water. So that's good news for the spearers. Eventually, when the water does start clearing up, port and starboard has been around, so the whites should head out a little bit, try and go for areas where they are not, because they tend to cause havoc between the great whites. Then in other news, there's also been a lot of, what do you call it in English, spoorweers, red bait that's been washed out red bait. And there actually is a huge difference between the red bait on the rocks that you cut and the washed out red bait. So you want to just explain a little bit of what the difference is, because I know there's a difference in color, there's a difference in smell, there's a difference in a lot of stuff. Because we are in galjoen season, what is the difference between the washed up red bait and the red bait that's fresh on the rocks that you cut?
Well, it's mostly the smell and then the color. So your washed up one has got more yellowish, whitish color on it, where your one from the rocks is more darker orange to red color that you get.
Okay, so and then it's difficult to ask this question, but which one they would prefer, because I know the guys were going crazy, rushing to everywhere where there's reports of the red bait being washed up. Is that a better bait than the one that you cut off the rocks?
It's not always to say that it's better. It depends on what the fish want today, So the one day the fish are wanting that yellow whitish one from the beach, and then other days it's always season depending, as well as where's the season has started, and then weather wise as well, what they do prefer for the day. So we have had guys wanting fishing with the one from the rocks and getting more bites than the guys with the yellow whitish one from the sand, and then vice versa. But you'll never actually know which one is preferred for the day.
That's why I think it's very important when you're going for a fish like a galjoen, that you actually have a couple of different baits with you. I know that some of the guys, we've said it before, they take the red bait, they cut red bait, or they go and collect the washed out red bait, and they let some of them mature for a week, they let some of them mature for 3 days, and they keep some of it fresh. And then on the day, they've got 3 different types of red bait with them actually, because you've got the fresh one, and then you've got the 3-day one, and then it's the one that's been matured for a week, and then whatever that fish is on the day. I reckon it's basically like when you get to a restaurant. Some days you feel like eating fish, some days you eat like eating beef.
Yeah.
So the fish also have a preferred appetite on that day. And so yeah, you have to figure out what works. And the more experienced anglers, they will know, looking at the condition and the spot that they're fishing, which type of bait that fish could prefer for that day.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, to wrap it up, first couple of days in the week, flatter seas, kop and steenbras. Later on in the week, when the swell starts picking up, galjoen and cracker. Is that basically to sum it up?
Yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, guys, have a lovely week, and remember to subscribe, come into the shop, get your bait, get all your tackle, everything ready. We'll see you in the next episode.